Hey everybody, thanks for joining me again. We have some new products coming to the shop on November 12, and one of those product lineups is a suite of products called Tag Team Duo. Whether you like to stamp, stencil, or hot foil, there is something in this suite of products for you. So let's go ahead and take a look at these products and see them in action. So the Tag Team Duo lineup consists of several different products. First of all, kind of the base of the whole collection is the Tag Team Duo die. So this is a fairly large die, consists of two generously sized tags. If you're familiar with our speed tagging concept, it's a little bit similar to that, but I have been wanting some larger tags than those that are included in our speed tagging collection, and so hence the Tag Team Duo. The Tag Team Duo die is two tags. There is also two frames included, which I have already snipped apart from my set. There is a hexagon tag as well as a rectangle. There is also the Tag Team Duo hot foil plate, which creates this pretty border around the outside edge of your tags, as well as a shaped label on the inside, either rectangle or hexagon. There's one of each. And so there's some alignment squares on the hot foil, which will help you easily line up the matching die. There are also some hot foil sentiments available. These are designed so that you can just very easily drop these little sentiments into these openings on the Tag Team Duo hot foil plate, and you can run those through your hot foil machine all at the same time. If you prefer to stencil, there is a set of 7 different stencils to coordinate with the Tag Team Duo die. There's different stripes and dots. You can also, there's a chevron pattern. You can also combine some of these stencils. For example, you can combine the vertical and horizontal stripes to create a plaid, and there's also a diagonal version of that as well, so that you can create kind of a gingham look. If you like to stamp, we have some supplies for you as well. We have this pretty Tag Team Duo Holiday Surrounds stamp set, which stamps some different like bouquets, holiday bouquets around the labels. There's one to coordinate with the hexagon label and one to coordinate with the rectangle label. There is also just a label stamp set, so that if you prefer to stamp rather than hot foil, these label shapes are the same, so you can stamp these versus hot foiling. So it's kind of, these do then coordinate with those rectangle and hexagon dies that are included in the Tag Team Duo die set. So many options, so many mix and match options. It's going to be really fun to create with this product suite. So let's go ahead and do some hot foiling. I have my Tag Team Duo hot foil plate already on my glimmer, and it is heating up and getting ready to go, so we'll just give that a minute until the light stops blinking. Okay, so our light is solid green and it means it's ready to go, so I'm going to go ahead and unplug this from the machine. Okay, I want to do that first because sometimes when you pull that out, it makes things shift around, so we don't want that to happen. So I'm going to pull it out unplug it from the base first, and then I'm going to go ahead and drop these sentiments in here. And I can lay my foil over the top. I'm using I think this is Speckled Aura. It's a Spellbinders foil. Lay that over the top. Then I have a half a sheet of white cardstock. This is a Neenah Classic Crest cardstock. There's a bit of a debate whether smooth or cardstock with more of a tooth works better for foiling. Everybody seems to have their own preference. I have really good results with this Neenah Classic Crest. Now I'm going to top it off with my plates. You're probably going to want to mess around and experiment a little bit and find a sandwich that works well for you and your machine. I'm using a Big Shot, and I have found with this tag die, I like to incorporate a shim. So I have a metal shim included in my plate. So I'm going to go ahead and run that through my Big Shot. As I do that, I want to make sure that nothing is shifting around on me. Sometimes you get kind of that little bump when it passes through the other side of your machine. So I'm just going to take my hand and press down on my plates so that that doesn't happen. We don't want those little sentiment plates to shift around. So we can go ahead and peel off our foil and see our pretty foiled tags. After you have it foiled, you can go ahead and take the Tag Team Duo die and align it with your little alignment squares up at the top of the tag. There's 3 of them across the top, and just center those squares inside of the squares in the die. And then I like to use some washi tape to secure that in place. And then I'm going to switch to my cutting sandwich for my big shot and go ahead and die cut those. And there we have 2 pretty tags with foiled labeled sentiments and a pretty foiled border. So I just showed you how you can hot foil the tags and the sentiments all in one go, but you can of course use these little sentiments on their own as well. They can be die cut with the rectangle and hexagon dies that are included in the Tag Team Duo die. And so I have them laid out on my glimmer plate, and I have them spaced far enough apart so that I can die cut those separately. I'm going to take some small pieces of gold foil and lay them over the top. It's a little bit better to use individual pieces of foil. There's less chance of getting over foiling if you don't use a large piece that covers kind of everything. So I have those small pieces. So I'll go ahead and unplug the machine and top it off with a sandwich. I'm not including a shim this time. You will probably get over foiling if you include a shim. So I'm just using the green plate that came with the glimmer and the top plate. And then, oh, don't want to forget our cardstock. I just once again have a panel of Nina 110 pound cardstock. And we'll just go ahead and run those through. If you get a little bit of oil over foiling, again, you can just go ahead and remove that with a sand eraser. Then you can go ahead and just die cut those with those frame dies. Now we can go ahead and embellish our tags however we'd like. I am going to stamp these, and so I have my MISTI here. I already have a negative Tag Team Duo die cut placed in my MISTI so that I can just easily drop my die cut tags inside those negatives and do some stamping. So it's great for if you're going to do multiple tags. So you could set it up and just kind of go to town and keep doing each step, kind of assembly line, and make really quick work. So I have step 1 of each of those bouquets already in place. So I have A1. So the A bouquet coordinates with the rectangle frame, and the B bouquet coordinates with the hexagon frames. And you'll see this in the guide that's included with the stamp set as well. So I have those first steps set up already in my MISTI. So I'll go ahead and stamp those. And then I'm going to take the second step, which is A2 and B2, and line those up for the next step. You can see there's some notations on the sheet of stamp indicating the tops, and so that'll help you position everything. So this is A2, which of course A coordinates with the rectangle frame, and I want to make sure that the top of that stamped image goes at the top, and you'll be able to line that up with the frame. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same for B. You can see top is indicated right there. So we'll make sure we get the top at the top of our tag. And then we have some berries. So A3 berries go up here. And A4 berries go in the bottom. Just like that. And then there's B3 berries, which line up with these two little sprigs right here. You'll see this indicated on your guide as well. And finally, B4 berries line up with a couple of little sprigs down here on the lower part of bouquet B. Put those all in my MISTI at the same time, and I can stamp them all at once. Right, you can see how quick and easy it was to create these tags, and if you were going to do multiples, just do an assembly line and do each step several times until you have a whole set of tags. So let's do a stenciled and stamped version. I'm going to start by stenciling the chevron pattern onto a panel. This is a half a sheet of cardstock. It's a 8.5 by 5.5, and I'm just going to start with this chevron stencil and just go ahead and stencil this pattern. Each of the stencils from this set has a blank space for the rectangle and hexagon labels. So my stenciling is complete, and I can go ahead and once again take my Tag Team Duo die and line up those alignment squares and secure that in place and go ahead and die cut those. Now I'm going to add some stamped frames to those openings, and so I'm going to go ahead and position my tag die cuts inside the negative. And then I'll go ahead and set up my labels, and that will allow me to just do multiples again as well. So I have those set up, and I'll go ahead and position those frame stamps right inside those openings from the stenciling. Go ahead and close that up to secure those in my MISTI, and then I can go ahead and stamp. So that makes for a quick and easy single layer tag. You can add a stamp a sentiment inside. There are several different to from sentiments in the Tag Team Duo label set available in some different fonts, and so you can add that. If you wanted to create a little bit more dimension rather than just a single layer tag, you can of course die cut that label and layer it over the top as well, like I did on this tag. So lots of different options there. If you want additional options for sentiments inside of those frames, a really great set that also coordinates with this line is our previously released Speed Tagging Christmas Sentiment set. All of those will fit in those frames as well, so that gives you some more options. So you can of course also combine the stenciling with the foiling. If you want to add a stenciled pattern to your foiled tags, go ahead and do that before you die cut them, and just use the alignment squares in the stencil and on the foiled design to line up your stencil and just secure that in place and do your stenciling before you die cut those. Just be aware that your stenciling will likely show on your foiling. So you might be a little bit better off using a dye ink, which will wipe off a little bit easier from that foiling than say the oxides or like a pigment ink, which will stick a little more to that foiling. A dye ink will kind of just wipe off, but you do have to be a little careful for smudging. So I'll just stencil this and I'll show you the result of how you do kind of see that stenciling on your foiling. So to help alleviate a little bit of that, you can go ahead and wipe that off before you remove your stencil. And you can get a good bit of that off, and it will probably only be noticeable to you. Your recipient will probably not notice. So I'm just taking just my stamp cleaning rag, and I'm just going to rub over that stencil and kind of wipe that ink off of the foiled part of my tags. We can go ahead and remove that, and you can see how you do still see some of that stenciling on the foiling, but then you can go ahead and die cut those and you have some really cute stenciled and foiled tags. Well, thanks for joining me, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this look into a new product suite we have coming to the shop on November 12th. It is called Tag Team Duo, and it's great for creating holiday tags and making the process pretty quick and fun with lots of options.